Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. It does help to have the volume turned up. There we go, volume. So, it's Monday. Okay, so one of the things we've got to work on here is various other widgets and thingies. So we're going to keep widgeting and thingying. Makes sense. We're going to get right to it because we got lots to do. All right. So here we are with the widget and the thingy. I'm actually going to swap pens because naturally it has been some time since we've been here. We're also going to do some maintenance on our screen. Let me take this is just a microfiber cloth. I'm just going to, from the top, back and forth and back and forth, till we kind of straighten this up. So my family and I went down to Las Cruces, the very bottom of the United States in this part of the world. So it was pretty warm the entire time. And I was like, I'm looking forward to getting back to Colorado where it's not so warm. Guess what? It's warm. And I'm like, well. Right. So we're working today on things. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about was like an armrest for the chair. We're going to need that because the captain's chair specifically has sort of a there we go. Let's say wake up. The captain's chair specifically has I don't actually see the indicator that tells me how many people are in my stream. Like I can't see. It used to say it right up here in the corner. And now it doesn't. So I don't know where it is. Like I don't know how many. I can't see if anybody can see me. I legitimately do not know. I'm presuming you guys can see me. I have a end stream button, which does indicate the stream is on. But there used to be a way for me to be able to see how many people were on my stream, and now I'm not seeing that. So here we are, just hoping that we're streaming. Okay. We're going to go into modeling mode because we really want to be in modeling mode for this. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to add like a desk, which is going to be something that can be slid forward, slid sideways, so that whoever is here can actually use the desk. In this case, Captain Cheng she's going to use the desk to write her logs on because she's got to write them handwritten when the ship is at in space because the computers don't work. So it's very disorienting not being able to see how many people are watching my stream. So because I don't know if there's anybody out there. I don't know if I'm just screaming into the dark. Maybe I'm just screaming into the dark. Who knows? Okay. All right. Object mode. We're going to add a mesh. We're going to add a cube. Right. This is our normal modus operandi. We're going to put the object mode. We're going to put it into edit mode. We're going to hit that guy there. I'm going to grab these guys and move them down because I want them kind of here, and grab these guys. I'm going to move them down to, here-ish, I guess. We're going to kind of scroll up. Move this guy here. Take this guy. Move him here-ish. Maybe I should make it go all the way to the floor. And then we'll make it angled sideways so that it is obviously some aspect of it. What we could do is also put like control panels and widgets on it, which would be useful as well. So not only do you have your little desk in front of you, but you've also got the little, control panel widget thing to the right. And this is going to be uniquely for the captain's chair. So it could even have controls that are useful to the captain. So we'll extrude. All right, put it like there. Well, legitimately, that doesn't need to be that wide, so we'll do that. We'll go up here. We'll grab these guys and extrude that way. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe sort of like that. Ish, like that. Give us a little bit more of a bow, I guess, so it doesn't look so weird, because it does kind of look weird. Maybe more like this. And I won't know where it belongs unless I do something like that. So, there we go. And this can be a control console right here. You can kind of look at what's going on. Maybe this section, well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's make this that, and make this kind of like this. We'll go like this. Like that. We'll extrude. Extrude, there we go. Do sort of like that. Now we know that we've made this infinitely wide, so let's make this not infinitely wide. I'll do it like this. Do kind of like that. I'll make this guy go here, sort of like that. Make this guy kind of go like that. Right, and it's kind of sort of conforming to the, oh, there you are, Brent. That's all right. That's okay. You do work. You do you, boo. From the seated point of view, I'm looking to the right here at this control panel. That's what I'm going to be looking at, is this part here. And plausibly this part. Right? Let's extrude that out. So, not enough that it's disruptive. You don't want that to be in the way of how she's dealing with things, like, her control console can come up a little bit here, but we don't want it to be in her way of like her knee or whatever at this point. So this is just sort of to the side like so. And this part can come out a little bit more. Maybe this part kind of comes out just a little bit like so. But this guy right here is going to be back like this. There we go. And that means you too. We want you back a little bit more like so, like this, so that her knee has room in here. I'm going to want some space in here so that she has the ability to put her leg there if she needs to. But we start getting kind of a control console unit here, which is starting to tell her information about the ship's operations, what's going on, what's happening, things like that. So kind of want that. And we'll move this up a little so that it's more in the line of her eyes. I'm going to have her leg through there, yada, yada, yada. You know, here's where we should actually go back into object mode so we can take this guy here and move him down so that we can see what he looks like on there. And get an idea of how high up we're talking, because this is where the head of people are. So they're going to be here. We kind of want to look there and see what's going on, right? So we're going to go back to this guy because this is who we're working on. Go back into edit mode. We're going to go this way, right? And so this is not part of the extended console. So we're going to go here, grab this guy like so, extrude. It went wonky, but we knew that, right? And I'll take this, we'll go here like so, we'll go like that. And that's probably not high enough to clear her leg. So we're going to have to move it up like so. Kind of move it to here. That's what I think we're going to want. There we go. So kind of looking at this here as sort of a spot of which to move this up and back a little more. Give her legs some room to get under here. Right? We're going to try to move in there like so. There we go. The desk itself is going to slide aside so that you can be able to she could just pick it up and push it aside and it'll pivot. And it's going to pivot right, here-ish. Which makes me think that maybe this shouldn't be so close to her chair because it's going to have room to pivot out of the way. Because it can pivot back here, right? So we can do that. And actually, that's what we will probably do is build the pivot next so that we know we have a pivot. Otherwise, we won't remember. Do is just take this, move him like this. There we go. Move this down just a hair. Like so. Now when we do this, we can drop all of this down to about there-ish, give or take. And I'll already know that there's a pivot here I need to worry about. So I'll just move that forward so it matches sort of where the chair is, yada, yada, yada. And then that way she can turn it and we'll know that there's a pivot there. You can just push it aside. She just, or, whatever. And it sits over to the right and just hangs out. And she can pull it back. What we're going to also do with this is build her bookshelf so that this fits underneath it. So when it pivots, it's going to pivot underneath into a parking space under the bookshelf. That's going to be its battle plan. So we're going to go back into object mode. We're going to look at where it's set up. Okay, it's set up with a pivot here. So we're going to want to move the pivot to its correct spot, like where it's going to ultimately be, to the right and forward. And then we're going to, because we want it to pivot right here, because we need to figure out where that center pivot point is. We'll go to edit mode. The first thing we're going to do is shrink this down so that it is the correct size to be this pivot. Because remember, once we import it into DAZ Studio gets like wonky on remembering where things are. So we're going to take the whole shebang and place it right over the pivot like so. And check to the side here. Whoa, look how high it is. We're going to come up to right here and do that. Okay. Now when we go back into object mode, we're moving from the pivot point. So right here. We're going to move this forward to right there and bring it up because it's got to be level with the chair. And that's fine. So now when we look at it, we've got this little like forward leading control console / desk that she can use for, sort of doing her business for like writing her logs and things like that. So she's got this little cute desk. So if we take this cute desk then and we rotate it 90 degrees out so that it sits to its side like so, or maybe even to right here. Right? This is what it looks like in a standard mode. So now we're going to build like her little control console important thing like that right up here that will sit to her side and give her all the things she needs. She can just grab this and pull it forward. So we're going to go back into object mode. We're going to select nothing, right? Then we're going to add a mesh. We're going to add a cube. I'm going to go to the top. We're going to move it. This guy is going to be her effective bookshelf. We'll go to edit mode. We're already in the correct mode for this. So we're going to move this forward so that it matches her chair position. We're going to do this. I'm going to grab this and move it back to here. Because this just mimics where the arm stops. And somebody just exploded. Well, we can't do that because that'll stop it from going forward into its position lock. We'll go here like so. We'll go here like so. Because you have to remember that if the captain happens to be a chakrana, then the seat's going to fold down. This desk is going to slide in front of the part of the seat so that the chakrana can get onto the seat and write the logs. So that's going to be important. We've got to make sure that we've got it capable for chakrana. Okay. These guys go down here all the way to the bottom. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to think about here is, what is it doing? Right? So it's moving up to, all the way to the top. It's in the way of the chair at this point in time, but that's okay. We're going to think about this as sort of, what does it do? Because at this point in time, not only is it in the way of the chair, but it's in the way of your elbow. And I find like that, bam, oh man, you'll hate that. So we don't want this last piece to be extending any further. So we're going to go here. We're going to drop this down to only the side of the chair. And then this will come up a little bit further to maybe here. And that way your elbow has room, right? And then we're going to go on ahead and extend this all the way out to here. We're going to go forward and look at where this is. Okay, so when we look at this from the top view, we're going to take this guy here and move him forward until he's all matched up nicely, like so. There. And this gives us the ability to scale a number of these things up if we need to, and we're going to. So we're going to go to face. We're going to take this. We're going to build up from here. All right. This now clears the desk just a little bit further. Probably needs to be just a little further. Clears the desk like so. And then this is the bookshelf that she can use. Right? Now, looking at this, like trying to figure out what's wasted space and what's not. Here is sort of, like a usable widget, but she still needs to kind of see these controls anyway. So from here, you want to be able to see along this control line so she can still see the controls. This is all going to be useless to her once she's in normal space because she'll have holograms. But I've been thinking a lot about this, and the travel in space, it's a long time. I mean, you'll spend weeks in space, depending on how far you're going. I mean, there's a couple of distances that are only a day apart between stars. But, a lot of these stars are weeks apart. And if so, you're in this in space for weeks. So we'll have to come up with, what's critical function. And you'll have to drop out of in space in order to do any major repair on the ship or anything like that, just like you would in a surface ship. If something really breaks, you don't just keep chugging along, on a surface ship here. All right. So we're moving along here. Moving along here. We want front. I'm going to go along here. And I'm going to talk about like this link seems to be very pointy. And I don't like the look of it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's super pointy. No, it's not as pointy. But it also sort of gives us a divot that we don't necessarily want. So we're going to take this and go here. We're going to bring it back out to there. Okay. I feel like going for these guys, this guy right here, would be where she'd keep her logbooks and things. So we're going to do this, and we're going to bring it, not, do I want it this way? Do I want it this way? Maybe I kind of want it more like that. Or like so. And she's got a little alcove for her logbooks right here. Right? That's where her logbooks sit. It's right up there. She's got probably a couple of other logbooks sitting here too. Maybe another shelf of other books and things and charts here. And then like we're gonna cut some stuff out here. We're gonna start booleaning. Stand by. We're going to boolean because we don't know exactly what's gonna go in here. We'll figure it out. So we're gonna go back into object mode, deselect, add a mesh of cube. Go to the top view and take edit mode. We're already in the point that I want here, so we're just going to go ahead and do this. And we're going to come back to here like so. Well, with Boolean, the further out you go from the actual like mesh, the better it is. The less conflicty it gets. Because it likes to be conflicty. And so I'm going to take a look at where we are on this. This is this shelf. So we're going to go like so. I'm going to take a look just real quickly here. Make sure that my shelf, this is cutting out a shelf that looks like this. Okay, so we want to make sure it's solid on all sides. Make sure it doesn't conflict with a lot of the geometry. I'm going to go back into object mode and take you, add a modifier, right? So we're going to go into the modifiers, click, add a modifier. We got Boolean. We're going to Boolean difference, right? And the object we're going to select is you, right? You can see how it cut a hole in there. We're going to say apply. And then we can take this guy and move him out because he's already done his damage, right? And if we look now, we have a bookshelf kind of cut in there real nicely. It's got a nice curve right here. It's got a nice curve right there. Looks good. So we're going to take then to go to the top again. We'll go back into naked mode, And we're going to do the same thing with the shelf underneath it, but I'm going to want to, of course, shorten this down. So we're going to go into edit mode. I'm going to take these guys. I go like so, right? Because I don't remember where that is exactly. We're going to actually have to go this way and do it. I'm going to take this guy and move him down because he's got to be down here. But this shelving unit, even though it fits to this side really well, doesn't fit to this side very well. I'm going to do that. We're going to bring it up like so. Now we double check to make sure the cut into the shell doesn't go all the way back because it doesn't go through the back of this. It'd suck. And then that will work. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back into object mode. We're going to select you, add modifier. We're going to Boolean it again and select this guy, right? And then we have to apply it. Okay. We check our work. Shorp. Now we have 2 bookshelves in there. Okay, perfect. So now what we have is a little work desk that slides sideways and some bookshelves. And these bookshelves are going to sit just to the right of the captain and the captain's chair. And she will have the access to these bookshelves if she needs them for any kind of books that she would need during in-space travel, because of course all of the computers are typically down during in-space. So not you. So we want to make sure that we've got the ability to have her be able to read a book or two. So give it a little bit of cutesy shape to it, stuff like that. It works just fine. Okay. So we've got that. Ow, man. It's been a while since I did work. I have forgotten what it's like to do work. These guys now are going to become books. So we're going to go ahead and make some books. Right? So we're going to go from the top view again. We're going to go back into naked mode. Edit. And these are just going to represent now just a bunch of books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it book width, like so. And then we're going to extrude once, extrude again, and that's the next, well, extrude again, and then this is the next book. And the reason we have to do this is because what will happen is, these guys, when I make them smaller, like so, move that like that, it's going to make this divot what you want to be like so, because the books are going to be exactly like this, right? And you want them to be of varying sizes because it's books, right? So we're going to extrude again. That's going all the way down to the next book, and extrude. And actually, I think I could probably do it with just one, right? Yeah, I could probably do it with one because I'm making them like this. There we go. And see how we've got now books, just books. I'm making books. I wonder what kind of funny things I could put on these books. You got to admit, it's going to be kind of cool, right? The ability to make a whole bunch of funny jokes about the books, because it'll be funny. Okay. I'm going to take these guys and spread them out a little, though, because there's actually, I feel like we have a one too many doodly wops here. That's a technical term. So we've got this guy can be like so. And this can be a book. And then we can do like so with this book. And then extrude. And this guy's a book. Right, we can just make it just a little bit bigger, like so. Still better than star maps. Oh, you should have seen the latest star maps. They are pretty awesome. I'm just saying. Okay. And we'll go to this side. We want to make sure that these books are book sized. So we're going to do it like so. Because we will use these books again for other things. So now when we look at this, we've got, yeah, it feels like they're a little high, a little tall. I don't want them to be too tall. But these books will show up again at other intervals. So they'll be up there for different intervals and things like that. So we will see the little book widgets show up a couple of times. But now we've got a little bookcase over here with some books in it. Yep, exactly. It's got AI keeping. Are we like being meanly unfair to AIs? I keep thinking about those poor AIs. Anyway. Okay, looking at some of this design here in the design function, I feel like we need to put a cup holder in, as we have all discussed numerous times. There needs to be a cup holder. Because there's a cup holder on the bridge of the Oroville. There needs to be a cup holder here. I think you guys are onto something here. We're going to have to figure it out, though, because like right now, the way this is designed, we've got to kind of move this guy back. So we're going to go to object mode. We're going to switch from the books to the cabinet, go back to edit mode. And it's this guy that needs to move back. So we're going to move up here and move him back to, like, I don't know, there, right? Just enough that he's no longer in the way of this arm. How to be human. Bring it back to, say, here. Right? A little bit further. It's hard to see where the arm's intersection is, so I'm having to guess. And I want to make it go exactly on the line. There we go. Like that. Okay. We can take this now. We can take this face. We can extrude it. And go to the top. And now that we've extruded that face, what kind of trouble can we get into with it? We're going to do this and kind of maybe not push it all the way back, but we can put it to here. And this guy needs to kind of follow the limits of the chair here. Again, I don't want to bang it with our elbow. That would be unpleasant. Especially now that it's spiky here, because it's going to be spiky. It's going to be, wow, that really hurt. Okay, so there's that. And this allows us a little place to just put our coffee. So we're going to kind of grab this and we're going to extrude it out too. All right. We're going to go to one side here because now that we've pulled it out, it's kind of a weird shape. Let's bring that shape down so that it's flattened like so. And take this guy and bring him in. Not so far out like so. And it gives us, a spot for our coffee. Our inevitable coffee. Put this like right here. A little harder to do because we've got a weird angle kind of going this way, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Kind of head that way. And this guy's inside something here. I don't even know what it's doing. I don't think it knows what it's doing. I'll just make that all one like zone. There. A little bit of a complication because things are a little bit hairy in this particular zone. Like, I don't know why that's up. It should be down. Right now, maybe this guy needs to kind of go back. I don't know. Make this more of a square. Maybe more like that. Maybe that's why we're doing this way. I feel like we are really messing up the mesh. We're scrambling the mesh pretty good here. Yeah, we are really messing up this mesh. Yeah, all for a coffee holder. It's important, though. Coffee is critical. There we go. Kind of there-ish. Fine dining in the Bellatrix system. I like it. I like it. Okay. So we've got kind of this unit sitting out here. It's absolute unit. Maybe this is a little down because it's going to be, that's not where you put your coffee cup. You put a coffee cup here. We're actually going to divot out a spot for it. But my question really is, how much of this is I mess up the mesh of? Because I feel like I'm going to have a disaster of a mesh here, right? Inside this part of it right here is like just this mess. I feel really guilty about messing up this mesh. I don't know. It's not so bad, I guess. I guess it could be far, far worse, but still, it's... Because this really should be just one face, but what a weird face it is. Right? Foodstuffs and you. On half rats. You're on half rats. Everybody's on half rats. Can we have full rats? No, no full rats. You can't handle the full rats. Okay. Kind of liking where it is to some degree. I mean, this is... So what we've got now is we've got this guy who can slide into place. So you can write your logs or whatever, right? And that's where it sits when we're writing our logs. And then it rotates out of place over here and just sits right there normally so that it's not in the way. And that works. Okay. Good morning, Donald. Good to see you. Somebody is messaging the heck out of me. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Okay. So we've done a little bit of kind of just making this work. What we have here, Donald, for yeah, but it's pivoty. Is that a word? Pivoty. If it was really good engineering, it'd fold inside the chair, but then I feel like it wouldn't have... Well, okay, so there's a couple of things. For one, inside this console arm will be control widgets. So from here, from the captain's chair, she'll have some console gauges right here that just sit right here, and she'll have a gauge right here. So these are also gauges all along here, which I didn't think about the fact that, you know, some of those gauges are not visible when the... Yeah, we've been coming up with book names. So this is the important gauge, I guess, right here. Whatever it is, this is our critical gauge. And maybe this zone right here. So the idea is that the gauges are on here a little bit too, but this is where her cup holder is. We've decided that it's important to have a cup holder. Although I am seriously thinking twice about that. I love the idea of the table settling back into a nice little alcove, but really honestly, I think that I like the idea of having more gauges through here too, that she can still see from here, from this point in the chair. You want to be able to see all these gauges, and now her little cup holder is in the way of that. So I'm less, yeah, ship I did circa 1805. Yep. So Donald, what Brent's talking about are these books right here, because there's books, and I'm going to have to actually work on that in a minute. But I actually am right now kind of the opinion that maybe I want to remove this, and that is kind of sad. But thinking about it more, it's in the way of those gauges, and I don't know if I like that too much. All right. So let's go ahead and just pop that. We'll delete this guy. Also, we had some really weird, funky, I don't know what was going on here, but we had some weird. So let's just put the face back in. Saw on a report that there is a company in California that makes chairs from the motion pictures. It's only $2,600 a chair. Lord of the Rings, Battlefield Earth. You know, it's going to happen. We're going to have Lord of the Rings or Battlefield Earth on these. You're right. That is absolutely a must. Okay, we're going to go into object mode. We're going to take this guy. Let's bring him out again, because we had him in there to make sure he was the right size and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of the opinion that he needs to kind of come out like this. I'm going to put him in edit mode. First of all, let's get him centered over his own centroid, because I'm feeling like, wow, warp speed, Mr. Sulu, now. Okay. His little centroid here, so that when we move him around, he's not like screwed up. Because right now he's all screwed up. Like that. There we go. Just move him out like right here. We're just going to work on this guy a little bit, because he's books. So some of them should be in and out and various things like that. It should be easier to edit mode. A little book, right? Yeah, see, I cut all of them. Give it a little bit of just some of them are out further than others. We're going to have to get really close here, because some of these guys are. Here we go. Yeah, I knew I was going to have a hard time snagging these guys. Hey there, George. What's up, you goofy cat? George is here for scritches. Maybe it's. You think it's George scritch time? Do you want scritches, George? If you want scritches, you have to come here. Come here. Do you want scritches? Or do you want to walk around and be weird? What is your battle plan? Do you want scritches? You gotta stop running away when I reach down to scritch you. Yeah. There we go. I think George wants scritches, so we will grab George and give him scritches. And we will take a George break. An emergency bed. Maybe. That's not a bad idea. George needs George scritches because it's George time.